Hello everyone, it's H here today for CTC, and we're going to be looking into XRP with Elliott wave theory. Now on this video again we're going to be looking into the bullish and the bearish scenario. We're not only going to be moon boys here on higher time frame, and wanted to give us a look into the probabilities, how I see the markets. But let's take a look at the higher time frames first, and again we are on logarithmic scale, and the reason why I'm using the Bitstamp chart is only because it has the most history. Again, this comes back all the way down to 2013 August. We had a couple of different higher time frame ideas here, where we've had this as potential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, the symmetry between wave 4 and wave 2 here is not perfect, but again, this is one of the ways of labeling this. Then we would have a three-way structure coming down into wave 2, or we would have this wave 2 not completed yet, where this whole thing would do something like that. Again, that is just one higher time frame scenario, and the reason again why I started discount from this low is because again the low here we see that is visible is actually here on July 2014 and not in these ones. If we want to be considering this previous structure as part of this, we have another scenario like this, where we have this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, and again this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on its own, a smaller degree wave structure. Now, with this kept in mind, we have the possibility of having this as a three-way structure coming down into the lows here and having this as wave 4. Again, we are starting to lose the right look here when we are comparing wave 2 and wave 4 if we are moving this over here somewhere. So again, if we want to be using this kind of structure, I definitely want to be having this wave as a wave 4. Instead, it's going to be a wave 2 or something. Now, this wave 4 area here is about this area here, which is always, if you want to have a target for wave 4 of higher degree, which in this scenario it's a primary wave 4, we are looking for the wave thirds wave 4, which is this area, and that's why I have this box here. So generally, we want to be seeing the wave 4 of higher degree land somewhere in this box as a target, and we did do that, and we just went slightly lower, took out the liquidity that we had resting here, and then we started to move upwards. Again, we are still within the 50% retracement, which I hold basically as a maximum, and yeah, since then we've been, again, we had a move up, and we have a bullish and a bearish scenario for those again, which we're going to be looking into next. Again, we're using log scale based on the structures otherwise not being visible at all, and this is the reason you have it. Again, unbelievable move up here on the 5th wave. So again, if we don't use log scale, this is what we have to view. So log scale it is on the higher time frames. Now let's hide that and take a look at the bear scenario. In this one, we would be saying that this three-way structure is not enough to correct the previous structure, whether it is this one or this one. Now, overall, where we want to be having this, wave Y is below the wave W. If we are comparing this structure here as a potential low, we can see that is super truncated and it's not really looking decent. So for that reason, we would be expecting this to do something like this overall to get a better proportions inside here, and later on the wave Y would be complete. Again, this is obviously the more bearish scenario, but locally there is a chance that we are going to be getting some move up higher to get to that 38.2 retracement of this wave W here for that wave X, at least to get some kind of better proportions. If we are looking at the previous structure here for this wave X, we see that we had hit the 38.2 in here, and again here we would have another three-way structure coming down. Again, if we are comparing this first structure over here into this one, we can see that we have pretty similar areas since the highs, and we would still be looking for one more leg lower. Now, for the bear scenario, if we are looking into the smaller time frames, we can still be talking about going higher. This being a three-way structure, again, gives us the possibility of labeling this in threes and as an ABC or WXY. This structure here coming down has the potential of becoming a WXY like I labeled it. Previously, I was labeling this as a WXY or an ABC coming down into the lows here. And then we would have this as a three-way structure on its own. However, we have now created new highs here. Now, this was not my expectation. My expectation was that we were actually going to be getting a partner leg like so after this middle structure here, but we completely did the otherwise, or completely did this structure differently. Now, how this is possible is this. Labeling this as a very rare WXYZ is one way of looking at that. And I don't really see other ways of labeling that. Other way, of course, would be something like that, but this is becoming less probable as this is getting so large in comparison to the first structure. It does not really have the proportions anymore too well. We have not hit the one-to-one extension of this move here as of yet, but there is still a possibility for that. We're going to be diving into the smaller time frames in just a moment after I present the bullish count as well overall. But here, overall, I would be expecting this structure to become something like this, where we are taking out the highs of this previous wave Y. Again, whether you want to be labeling this as a WXY or an ABC, we'll look into that later as well. But let's take a look at the bull count. The bull count is this one, and if you've followed XRP for quite some time, there is a chance that we are just creating always these expanding diagonals. Now, bullish wise, this is the only way I can be labeling this, going upwards, having this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We had a very, very close invalidation here. If wave 4 again had taken out the low of wave 2 here, this whole thing would be invalid, but we did not take it. So again, this is potential expanding, leading a diagonal into wave 1. Then three-way pullback into wave 2 at the lows of around June 2022. And since then, again, we have to zoom into the chart and see how we would be labeling this. Now, again, as established on the bearish scenario, all of these moves were in 3 waves. However, XRP does not it does not mind about that. So again, it has the potential of having this as an expanding leading diagonal again. This would become a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, we have to be labeling this the bullish way. And again, not my favorite. Again, I don't really like the expanding leading diagonals. Again, they are very rare in itself, but again, XRP seems to be favoring them quite a lot here on even higher time frames. So that's why we have to be labeling them. For the bull scenario, this is the only way of labeling it as a WXYZ, like we had it on that bear scenario. So this is the way we need to be labeling it. On the bear scenario, we can't take out any of these lows. But again, fortunately, we had a potential far-away move from the lows. In this one, we'd be looking for this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's not the best for sure, but we do have some divergences formed here that is giving us some kind of indication that we have that far-away move here. And it's not too bad looking either. Of course, if we are looking at the extension-wise, it's not really there. Getting to the 1.236 is much more of a bearish target than anything else, but that's just the way XRP seems to be functioning. Bull case again is saying that we have to have this as 3, some kind of 3 wave here, and another 3 wave here. As this is the lowest low here, we have to be labeling the wave 2 in here. Now, how do we get this into becoming a bullish structure afterwards? Let's take a look very much closer. And we are here on 30-minute time frame now. Now, this gets kind of interesting here. We have a move up in here, and then a move down, potential move up, down, up. So again, this structure has taken out the previous highs. Let's measure that and see, is that larger? It is not larger than the previous structure here. However, it is larger than the next structure, as you see here. So there is a chance that we're just going to be labeling this into a leading diagonal. Sure, we have a massive overthrow here. However, again, this 5th wave would not be larger than 3rd, so it's fine. The other way of labeling this is actually having this as a leading diagonal over here, and this would become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's decent looking. 3-way pullback here is very good looking, and again potential for the move up. If we have it like this labeled, we would have this as a 1, 2 and 1, 2. I don't think this is a 1, 2, 1, 2 based on RSI. So if we had to have it more bullish, we would have this as a 1, 2, 1, 2. Obviously, this would become a third wave of some sorts, and I don't think these are large enough to become the wave 4s of anything. The wave 4s or wave 4 would be this one, which is super deep. Generally, I don't even consider these, but again, golden pocket, XRP is doing its own thing. This is still valid. Why? Because it has not come back to the wave 1 top here. So it is still possible to label this as a 1, 2, and this would become another 1, 2 of lower degree. So this would become a sub-minute, and this would be micro 3, 4, and then we'd be looking for one more high here. At this point, again, the structure here can be seen as 5-way move, some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That is possible. Then some kind of retracement, 3, 3, and then 3, and then again potential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I definitely want to be seeing one more high here, and then a pullback before we could be looking for a setup here upwards. Again, these lows would be the retracement or the max retracement and your invalidation for the trade. 41 cents and 43. No, 41, 0.4143, something like that. You can check out your chart what this low is indicating, and that would be your invalidation for the trade. But again, that is just one idea. At that point, again, we would have this as a 1, 2, 1, 2. Very similar to here, but lower degree, and this would be within this wave 5. At this point, again, we would definitely be expecting us to be getting to that 1-to-1 extension, which would be the more bearish target. And for bulls, we should be getting all the way to 63.5 cents. So at that point, again, we would have to do something like this, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. We'll see if that happens, and only then I would become more bullish on this one again, if we take out the 1.618, as this would again be a lower degree wave structure. Now, if we are comparing this wave structure here for this one, again, the expectation is always the 1.618 for any third wave, which is again very high here. Let's see, that would be around 88 cents. So if this becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4, we would need fifth wave to have some kind of decent extension as well, all the way up to here, 88 cents, to have that decent look. Of course, there is a possibility that we are still creating a lower degree 1, 2, 1, 2, in which case we don't need to be extending this high, and we would be just creating a expanding diagonal here again, or a contracting diagonal, if we don't hit the 1-to-1. But based on the lower degrees here, there is definitely a chance that we are creating that and move up soon again. Based on this, I do like the idea of this becoming a 5-way structure and not a 3-wave. So that's why I'm not expecting actually this to be the high for a third wave completely. Again, structure-wise, that is the reason basically. I don't expect this to be ABC based on the very large extension. I rather have it as a 1, 2, 1, 2 than a B, and C with that diagonal in mind. But those are the things that I'm looking for on XRP at this very moment. I hope you got some ideas again from it. And for sure, check us out on countertrendcapital.com and check us out on the Discord channel as well. You can find all the links in the description as well if you want to be joining and seeing how everything works. But yeah, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching and see you on the next video. Bye bye.